Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by SurveyMonkey. Go to try.surveymonkey.com/twist and sign up for a free trial. And MailChimp. Manage lists with up to 2,000 subscribers and send 12,000 emails per month for free with MailChimp.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah, money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah, we ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
London calling to the faraway towns. Now war is declared and battle come down. London calling.
Hey everybody, it's Jason Calacanis, the host of This Week in Startups, and I'm here to tell you about one of my favorite products, SurveyMonkey. I'm done. No, seriously, SurveyMonkey is a great product. I've been using it for 2 years. Many of you have received surveys from me. Sometimes I'll write an email and put a survey right at the end of them to get your feedback. And Carolyn is here with me. She's one of the producers here at This Weekend. She produces This Week in Startups and some other programs on the network.
Social media.
Social media with Rob Tersick. That's been going very well. Now, we've done SurveyMonkeys before. You can build a survey in literally minutes. You go to the question bank. They even have pre-formed questions for you that are perfectly designed by experts.
Yes.
But there's a new feature. Not only will they give you the questions you could ask, like what's your income, where do you live, and how to properly phrase that stuff so you get the right responses and not bias in it, but you can collect on Facebook, you can collect on the web, all these kind of things, URL, email, but you can also now get a group of people through their beta of, what do they call that thing?
By a targeted audience.
By a targeted audience. Hey, pull that up on the screen, everybody. Now, this is fascinating. I was talking to the CEO of SurveyMonkey, Dave Goldberg, and he's a serial entrepreneur who's very, very successable. He did Launch.com. Speaking of Launch, he did the original Launch.com and sold it to Yahoo, which was the music portal that everybody loved. It was pre-Pandora, pre-Rhapsody. He's a serial entrepreneur, great poker player, a good friend of mine, actually, before he did SurveyMonkey. And SurveyMonkey, they're trying to solve this whole thing of how to get surveys done. One of the things was people didn't know how to do the questions. One of the things, they didn't have software. He provided the software. Then they didn't know how to form the questions. He provided the questions. Now you've got to get people to respond.
Right.
Now he's providing that. So if you look here on the screen, I can't read that, it's a little bit small here, but I'm sure the audience can. Oh, there you go, thank you. They will give you a bunch of people to take your survey. So if you scroll down there, all across America, what can they target by?
You can target by gender, age, location, ethnicity. I mean, literally any narrow group of people that you can think of, you can target through this.
So I could say, hey, give me everybody over the age of 50. Like, let's say I was Mark Pincus.
Sure.
And I wanted to get information on people above the age of 50, retirees or soon-to-be retirees playing my casual games. A lot of them do. And I said, I want, females over 50 or just anybody over 50 in, middle America, and what they think of Farmville and Cityville, and how many hours they play, and do they have an iPad yet? Because I'm thinking about going into iPads. Right. And are they considering buying an iPad? So I want to see if Farmville players, hey, I could go test not just his people, because he's got his people, and he can get to his people by just setting the URL. But what if he wants to get a larger group of people? Now, this is something, when you do a survey like this, I've tried to do this at many times for my magazines and blogs and other companies. If you hire a research firm to do this, I can tell you, they will charge you $10,000, $20,000 to design the survey, and then they'll charge you $10, $20 per person. So if you want to have a 1,000-person survey, you're in for another 10 or 20 grand. You're talking about $50,000 to do this kind of research easily. And I've not done it because of that reason. But how much are they charging in the beta here?
This is $3 per person.
That's unbelievable.
That's it. And I've worked in advertising before. They have focus groups. There's a whole big event. You buy food for these people. This is just on
You also don't you pay them $100 to come in?
Yeah, it's expensive.
What do you pay them?
Time consuming.
What do they pay? Is it 50 or 100?
The ones I was in were 100.
So you pay $100.
$100.
Then you got to pay for food, a couple $100, another $25, $50 a person for food. You got 20 people there. It's a waste of money.
And who knows who's just coming in for the food.
And the money.
You don't even know what quality of people you're getting.
Right. And here they've done the hard work to create this survey. This is why you should use SurveyMonkey. They keep adding all these amazing features and services, and they are dedicated to solving this problem of understanding the marketplace. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to understand the market. Before you commit developer resources, before you commit your company for 6 months to go work on some project, you don't know if it's even going to work. For God's sake, spend the $25 a month for SurveyMonkey, or $20, whatever. What does SurveyMonkey cost a month? Like $20?
The basic plan is free. The next tier up is $24 a month.
Yeah, but I don't want the basic plan, because the basic plan is for only 100 responses.
Correct.
Which I could, if you could, 100 responses is good. But if 10 more come in for $24, I want those extra 10.
And it's unlimited for $24.
Right. So I've gotten over 1,000 on many of my surveys, and that's hey, I want all of them. I want to get as many as possible. But you could go test, just send to 100 people in their survey group, or just tweet it, or send to your existing users. You should get feedback from your users, and you should use a great tool like SurveyMonkey. And by the way, I'm not supposed to talk about another sponsor during this, but SurveyMonkey and MailChimp, they like to play together. They're integrated through the API. So if you have a mailing list and you got the SurveyMonkey goodness, MailChimp goodness, they're going to work together. And we'll probably show you that on an upcoming episode of This Week in Startups. Carolyn, thank you so much for showing us the, what is that called? Like what do they call that when you have a group of people? There's like
a focus group.
A focus group,
Yeah,
but there's also like a
targeted.
demo, or I don't know what they call it, but you can just, the people you can survey.
Sure.
They provide people to you. So I'm going to try this beta. We're totally going to try it. And you should too. And you should support SurveyMonkey, because they are a great product, and they're sponsoring this program, which is free because of their support. Like NPR, we don't have to ask you for money. They are the reason. They're helping me put this great product out there week after week after week. Carolyn, thank you for all your hard work as a producer on This Week in Startups. You've been tremendous. Delightful to work with you, and it's delightful to work with SurveyMonkey. We'll see you all next time.
The Streaming Well is an online portal for video-based healthcare information in Europe. We provide localized evidence-based health education in Europe, which is something that we've noticed that there's a gap in the market for this kind of information. Health videos are the 6th most popular category on YouTube, but there's a lack of high-quality European healthcare information for patients and doctors. Our revenue model takes advantage of the higher CPMs that are available to video content with FMCG, commercial healthcare companies like pharma and device manufacturing and insurance being our key targets. 2 founders, with my partner, Francis Namuk, are currently working full-time, and we also have 4 part-time employees. We've spent the last 2 years establishing a reputation in the healthcare communication industry in Europe, building relationships with medical experts and patient groups. Now we're ready to launch our new site. Ta-da. Yeah. Which has been...
Awesome. Oh, go ahead. You can continue for 10 more seconds. We'll let you.
Which has been designed, and we're in the process of building it right now. We already have partnerships with some of the largest online consumer channels in Europe, which we partner with them by syndicating our content to their audiences. We're looking for £250,000 to further expand our video library, grow viewer loyalty, and further develop our product to open up new revenue streams.
Very good. This was definitely a solid pitch, and it's definitely a great business. I can predict what Tyler's going to say about the pitch. Number one, the first piece of feedback I was going to give on the business side was, my God, the website needs to be redesigned. It doesn't look so good. And you did that, and you preempted me with this beautiful looking thing. At first I thought you had created Photoshop, but then I realized you were showing a mock-up. This looks much better. I felt the pitch was solid, but it didn't make an emotional connection. And in order to make the emotional connection, it started to drone on a little bit at the end, and you're dealing with a dry topic area. So I felt like I got the general idea 20 seconds in, and then that last 40 seconds, I didn't feel like you added anything that was that important. So what might have been a good idea is to tell us, why did you build the site? Is there some personal reason? Did you go through a family member having a disease, and were you confused? Were you confounded because you're a doctor and there was no good information about Alzheimer's online, and you were dealing with that? Some way to personalize it or present a problem.
Right.
show a YouTube search result for typing in Alzheimer's cures or whatever it is, and show us exactly how bad the world is, because I know this space pretty well. Mahalo is very big into video. Show us exactly how shitty the content is on YouTube and how non-authoritative it is, and show us how authoritative yours would be. So I would put the pitch at somewhere around a 7.5, and if you had made it emotional and solved an actual problem, I would jump it up. Tyler, what did you think of the pitch?
What did you want us to walk away with? Like, if tomorrow, what do you want me to remember tomorrow when I wake up about this?
I think how far we've come in such a short amount of time, and how much we've produced and built.
That's hard for us to know because we didn't necessarily know where you started and where you're at now. But is that really what's important? Maybe it is. Maybe that is you could argue that's a good thing that you want them to walk away with.
Yeah.
I don't even. How long did they say? How long they've been doing it?
No.
So I don't know. That's an important variable.
If that was the goal, we started, with 20 videos in, 2008, and we now have 2,000, and we're producing 100 a week. We'll hit our 5,000. The closest competitor has 1,000, whatever. But I think Tyler's point is, you want all of us, including the audience, to come away with something, and you really need to premeditate that when you're going to give a 1, 2, 3 minute pitch.
Just for your own awareness, the one stat that I walked away with, and I wonder how many heard the same stat, that surprised me, but it wasn't at all necessarily relevant, was that health is the 6th most watched category in YouTube.
Yes.
Which I don't know that it is totally relevant to your product, no question.
But what does that mean? Does that mean 1 billion views? What does it exactly mean? What's the average CPM for this? So there are things you could have, you mentioned high CPM, but you could have said, do you realize it's a $75 CPM and YouTube is currently averaging $2?
Right.
It is 35 times, the average. So give a score.
If I was going to do this pitch, the one thing I would change is, I would show examples of god-awful medical advice with millions of views.
Right.
That would be memorable.
That would be really memorable. Like,
terrible content is getting a million views. Give a score, Tyler. Give a score. Out of a 10, you give the presentation as given.
As it currently was a 6.
Was a 6?
Yes.
Okay, wow. Sanford,
I have high expectations for London now because we've done, we've done this a few times, and I know you guys can deliver. So.
Yeah. Okay, Sanford, what do you think
as a business, though, I really like it.
Of the pitch, Sanford.
I was going to comment on you. I'm going a minute, and you're expecting all of that in 1 minute?
Well,
they're from England, okay? They're working on this. To get fast, they do speak fast. But I was about to say, you guys were doing fine. I appreciated what you did, your presentation. I saw what you're saying is that you're trying to demonstrate the migration from what you had done to what you've done today. And as Jason's saying, showing us what your goal was and what you're looking for. For example, is this a pitch to tell us about the company and that's it? Is this a pitch about raising money? Are you basically trying to increase awareness so you hire more? I couldn't figure out what that was. That was my big challenge. Visually, it looks beautiful, a little bit tense. Visually for me, it's a little dense.
Right.
I like it a little easier, but everything else is good. And then the other one is about their enthusiasm. How long have you been in England?
Like 2 years.
2 years, and how about you?
The same.
Okay, so they've settled down.
They tone it down.
The Brits don't get too excited that way. You have to get them pissed drunk. That's a lot easier.
I think Sanford makes a really good point, though, about it being very dense.
Yeah.
And especially for a video site, you wouldn't know this is a video site. You would think that this is a site full with articles. I mean, it says watch video, but really, if this is about video, it should be video driven. All this text is not helping you. All those little video boxes should just be full boxes with just a title. You don't need to put a paragraph there.
Right.
Sanford, what would you give the presentation on a scale of 1 to 10?
On this goal, since I'll use Tyler's number of a 6. Sorry.
Okay.
I'd like it to be better. I think your product is direction.
Yeah. And we're going to get to product next. Hussein, what did you think?
So I thought the pitch was actually okay. It was clear. I thought I got everything out of it. The site, I had the same exact feedback. I couldn't figure out that this was a video site. To me, it was kind of I was really thinking this was a mix of articles. Is what they do. The one high-level thing is I don't understand why this is a European problem versus a global problem. I assume if you have Alzheimer's, it doesn't make a difference where the heck you are in the world. You probably want to watch qualitative information. So I didn't quite get why you were targeting Europe.
Right.
I also had no idea how you guys were going to generate traffic to the site. So this is a destination site. I can totally get the arbitrage on putting this up on YouTube, and YouTube gets very natural traffic and search results. And your guys' stuff should come up on top if it's qualitative at all, or has quality. But none of that was clear to me. So
what do you give the pitch on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I come with the group consensus and give you statistics as well.
Okay, so the pitch obviously needs work. I think the good news, though, we're going to see is that people are going to like the business. So if you had to choose high scores for business, low scores for pitch, you take that over low scores for business, high scores for pitch. On a business level, I give this a solid 8. I think video, local, mobile, and social are really the trends going forward, and you hit one of them. If you really wanted to amp this up and impress folks, showing this on a tablet, showing it with a social feature, then you would blow the VC's mind. Like literally, be like, oh my God, this has 3 of the check boxes that I have in my letter to LPs. It's social, it's mobile, it's video, right? Like, he's going around to LPs raising money saying, give me $100 million, I'm going to invest in social, mobile, and video. Yeah. Right? And local. So if you said, and this refers you to local doctors. If you did that, now you've got all 4 of the things that he raised the $1 million for. He can check all the boxes and boom. So I give it a solid 8 because I think it's going to be successful as is. But I would encourage you to think about mobile and social. Yeah. What do people want to do around it? Tyler, what did you give it on a business level?
I'm more 8.5.
8.5.
And I really like this because when I do have a problem, I get some weird looking blister or something or whatever it is, back pain or whatever. Yeah. Does that mean something in English I'm not aware of?
A blister?
Yeah.
I hope it's on your foot. Wow. 8.5. Okay, 8.5.
Okay. No, but I do go online. I am one of those people who the first thing I'll do is
you have the internet.
Yes. No, but I think
it's not just a series
going
of
to the doctor, at least in America, is such a hassle.
Right.
That you will spend hours online trying to figure out what the F is going on.
Anything to avoid going to the doctor.
There's no tip jar here tonight, right?
No tip jar.
Awesome. So whatever the with me, I will spend hours online. A lot of Wikipedia, a lot of this, a lot of that, and there is absolutely a notable lack of video on this in health.
Sanford, what do you give the business on a scale of 1 to 10, Sanford?
I actually give it a 7. Primarily because I can't see it in terms of making money. It's a good opportunity, but for example, I've spent time looking across the different health sites too. I always get a kick out of looking at English health sites versus the US health sites. Yeah. I thoroughly enjoy discovering there's a transition between medicines, actually health conditions. I can't figure that out. I'd be very interested in seeing how you're doing your SEO, how you're doing sitemaps, a lot of the technical aspects that's going to make this discoverable, aside from the manual labor you're going to have to do of republishing it in other locations. Right. So I'm curious about that curation, I'm curious about the discovery, and I don't know the monetization. So while I like that it hits the LP's points, I'm now going a little more European here. Yeah. I'm going for the European VC style now, which is, so where's the money? Right. I want to know where the money is right now. Right. I love the idea, but I want to know how the revenue is.
So what do you give? Scale of 1 to 10, you said 7? 7, solid 7. Okay, who said?
Okay, so my big concern is how big does this actually get? I mean, I think more than kind of the check marks for mobile, social, local. I've got all of them right. Yep. How big does this actually? Video. Sorry. How big does this actually get? What is it? It feels like a short-term arbitrage to me. While there's a lack of content, and it feels more like a publishing business than less like a technology business. And so I would worry about how long, not just how long-term it is, but just how big it actually becomes. Right. And for that reason, I would probably score it a 6.
Okay. If you had seen it and they pulled out an iPad and said this is a way for doctors to communicate directly, and it's a platform for any doctor to comment on this type of thing and have a threaded discussion and share it with their network of whatever, that would have felt more scalable, I bet.
Yeah, that would have. If you said this is where we're starting and we're going to get a bunch of traffic, we're going to be seen as an authoritative site on video, and then here's kind of our concept roadmap for where we think this business can go. We really want to be the definitive. We want to be WebMD 2.0. Right. Like that's bigger. That, by the way, is a very American venture attitude versus a European venture attitude.
So the issue there is, if you pitch a content business to VCs, they're very averse to it. Very averse to it. Even though there's many multi-billion-dollar companies that are content businesses, they tend not to be VC-backed. Right. So the same exact product wrapped and said a different way, a VC will just be like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. It's the same actual product.
Right.
But if you say it's a mobile platform for communities to discuss this, they're like, oh, wow, that sounds scalable. Right. Here's a check, as opposed to a content company. Any feedback for us on our fair feedback?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's fair feedback, and what it's told me is that my presentation actually wasn't anywhere near a 6, because most of the things that you've mentioned are things that actually are in our plan, but they're in the 10-minute presentation, and we couldn't cram them all into the 1-minute presentation.
Yeah.
We are fully mobile optimized. For example, we do have plans for social community. We're actually already social because we have partnerships with patient groups. I mean, it kind of goes on, and in terms of the scale of our ambitions, they're global.
Awesome. Let's hear it for streaming. Well. Next up is 6.3.
Okay, so thank you. So 6.3 is a video messaging service. So millions of people around the world enjoy video calling through Skype or Tango, but there are 2 big problems with video calling. Number 1, you tend to have to pre-arrange the calls. And number 2, the calls don't work that well over mobile networks. So if you're a busy person who likes to communicate spontaneously, you don't have many choices. So we've developed a video message service called 6.3. 6.3 allows you to send 63-second messages between smartphones, laptops, tablets, whatever it may be. In the app or in the browser, you can create messages, send them, or view them and organize them in an inbox. Right? The basic service is going to be free, and the premium service we're going to attempt to make money by monetizing HD messages, an archive for messages, and editing tools. And if you want to get involved in the beta, you can sign up at 63.tv.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about the presentation for a moment. Jose, why don't you go first here? Tell us, what did you think about the presentation? Were you drawn in?
So I thought that was excellent. That was clear, crisp. I got it. The only thing that I didn't know was, how are you going to get users to how are you going to evangelize it? How are people going to be aware of it? Are you going to drive traffic to the application? How does it go viral, etc.? But it was very succinct, very clear. I'd give it a 9.
Wow, 9 presentation, big number. Sanford, what did you give it on a presentation basis?
I'm sorry, I kept looking at the 6.3, and when you said it was 63 seconds, I went, why isn't 63? That's all I wanted to have at that point. And then if you ever find a way to do the technology beyond 63 seconds, then I was wondering how you're going to change the name then. So I hope you have a whole bunch of those. But that said, no, the presentation was excellent. You led well with a good problem. You pointed out a potential solution. The sad part is at the very end, where you're about to say how I'm going to monetize, was we're hoping we will, and that just made me go, ugh. And so that was the thing that you lost me, that stumble, and that's why I'll give it an 8. Clean, crisp, dead on. You didn't have to do, you did 2 slides, perfect. Loved it.
Okay, very good. So far so good. 9-8. Tyler, what do you think?
You did one thing really well that the last one could kind of learn
Genevieve.
from, which was your shoulders were towards us. You were looking at us. You spoke like, you made it personal. Like we had to engage with you, right? Rather than kind of have your head in the computer and that. So that's always something to keep in mind. You just kind of had this body language that read really well. So, and as they said, you were very articulate about the problem you were solving and how you're going to go about it, although could have filled in more gaps on the monetization. So I'm at about an 8.5 with it, actually.
Really? Wow, very strong.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very solid presentation. I'm going to give it, like Sanford, an 8. It wasn't exceptional, so what would have made it exceptional? What is unique about this? What major problem are you solving? How would it be viral? Any of these things would have given us something else to latch onto, some emotional connection to it. So I'm a father of 2. I frequently travel. I try to upload to YouTube, but I don't want the stuff public. People can't find it, the URL structure. I just wanted to go to this one person. My mom has an iPhone now. She wants to send messages to her granddaughter. She can't do it. If only there was an easy solution so the 3 of us could give short video messages. Then all of a sudden it's personalized and we're drawn into it. Or, hey, by the way, people are already doing this. Here's how they're doing it. It sucks. So now getting onto the business part of this, I have a lot of concerns about this as a business because a lot of people have tried this and failed. And you probably know that. So Louis did Seismic, which was comments and under blog posts, and he got TechCrunch to run it. He got other people to put it underneath their posts. It never worked. It turned out most people don't want to be on video. So your premise when you said, oh, people are making tons of Skype calls or whatever, actually, in truth, they're making Skype calls, not Skype video calls. And so I immediately was like, I think that's a misleading statistic.
Can I come back on that just quickly?
Sure.
So about 40% of Skype's minutes last year were video calls versus voice, which I think that's shifting over time. So I think there's a change. And I think the thing with Seismic that didn't work, and the thing with 12 Seconds TV and a number of other startups is that people had to take video of themselves and make it public. And people are pretty squeamish about themselves on video, like they are a bit in photos.
Sure.
And so we think that by making this a sort of personal one-to-one and one-to-few service will sidestep what I think was the big problem for one of the big problems.
And that would have been great to have in the presentation. If you had just said in the presentation, video comments have never worked.
Everything you just said.
Yeah, that was perfect.
40% of Skype calls are video, whether private. I mean, it was the golden nugget.
I need to speak
So anyway, on a business level.
He said you have to speak first.
Yeah,
you just speak faster.
Faster.
Well, that was the money shot right there.
You talked about the Skype and the relationship side. That could have been done in one sentence, but you ended up telling us a bit too much about it. You really just hit it. I'm so impressed that you've now elevated my interest in your company for a different reason.
Yeah.
You were able to come back with good answers right off the bat. I like that.
Yeah, that's always good. So I wonder how big does the business become, and it's been tried before, and I don't know if people will pay for it. So on a business level, I'm sort of at a 7 right now, but you know what? If you had pitched YouTube when they built it, it would have gotten a 5. Everyone's the stupidest idea ever. Everybody's already tried that. So that doesn't really mean that much. It means that you could be the guy who figures it out. Tyler, what'd you get on a business level?
I will always remember we were in Korea. In the back, we spent a night out on the town in Seoul with Loic. When, again, no swear jar, so shit was literally hitting the fan with him and Seismic, and he was just realizing it, and he was panicked. He was actually panicked. Which is strange because he's such a well-together guy, right? I have much admiration for Loic. So it scared, the idea of doing a video venture just scares me, just seeing him, and I think very highly of Loic and his ability to execute, and just the mess that kind of became. So those kind of scare me. So for that reason, I give it kind of low score on the business side.
Which is?
Call it. I'll give it a 7 actually, just based on how he's answering the questions now.
Right,
I would have given it a 6, but I think you might have what it takes to pull it off. So
Sanford, what do you give it on a business level?
So I also know another company that did this very much similar solution, video on email, not on the mobile phones. At the same situation, it closed down. They never succeeded. And this is 2-3 years ago. But I am intrigued to see what you're going to do. You're only focusing on this. This gentleman who started this company had done bulk mail service. I believe it was Who's There or something like that. I'll remember the site. The goal, though, I'm still not clear as to 1, the monetization, and 2, the real value. For 63 seconds of video, do I really want to see that? Or, as many people like to do, either get a text message from your audio message. I've fallen in love with the, I don't want to say voice to text solutions. That makes me handle it much easier. Having to sit and watch the video and have to listen to it, and also in public, because I might want to have to put on my earpiece. There's a lot of other things that I think are going to cause product issues. And so that's what I worry about. I give you a 6, not a 7, but I hope you, and I wish you well.
We say on a business level.
Business level. So three quick concerns, right? So adoption is the first. It's really tough to crack in all of these apps or all of these services. Don't know how you're going to do it. It's a really crowded space, right? And lots of people have come and gone. Talkbox, the Week Seismic, et cetera. So that's really tough. And then defensibility. This is not rocket science technology. So if you get it right and Google Talk decides they're going to also offer it, and this is basically just, it's next generation voicemail to me. All of that stuff feels really hard, and for all of those reasons, I'd probably come out at a 6.
And people hate voicemail.
And people hate voicemail.
Right, so to say we're better voicemail is like saying.
You don't even use it.
Yeah, I mean, people hate checking the voicemail.
By the way, he has a tough thing ahead of him, because you're going to ask a lot of people, don't you want video voicemail? You're going to do your friend and family research to find out who's going to like this idea, and everyone's going to say, oh yeah, that would be great, I'd love video of this, and it's easy to imagine that people really love this. But it's one of those things that they're saying that once it gets built, it's just, like he says, it is a bit of a investment to try and do this whole video.
Yeah, so I think this is one of these companies where it's your job to go up and prove folks like me wrong, because we're going to be curmudgeony. And what I want to see is the user growth growing exponentially.
Yeah, there's nothing I can really say other than prove it, come back with some numbers. I mean, on the adoption, I don't think we have any special tricks. I think the world has learned a lot from fast-growing businesses. I think the world's learned a lot from Instagram about where to put your energy. Platforms may not, millions of platforms aren't necessarily a great idea versus lots of languages. I think that, the voicemail idea and the text idea is something we've been toying with. So,
oh no, I was going to add that one of the things that I've been learning in another company dealing with is finding a niche. The challenge you have right now is that you look at voicemail or video voicemail as an overall, everybody's going to use it. Actually, I don't think that's going to be where you have to be. Take the, crossing the chasm story, find your beachhead, work on some solution and start learning about their needs. Get the adoption so then you get the feedback to iterate the product faster. Because if you're just trying to build a general, you're in trouble. I honestly think that's going to be your big problem.
Young families are Jason in some ways is our target. It's
I was
you've
about
missed,
to say,
you've missed the
Sanford
last
gives
Skype
you-
call home, and then you get.
Sanford gives you excellent advice on picking a niche, as we say in America, a niche, and getting it right, as we say incorrectly. Quite literally.
We've kept the language. They didn't.
And I think actually, kids, grandparents, so if you said this is an application for families to stay in touch, and you put in your family members' names, and when I click one button, it goes to those 5 people, and that's it. It's like, what's mom's name, what's dad's name, what's my cousin's name, put them in, you almost have like a little mini family graph, and then when I make a video, it just goes to the family, and then the family can respond, and it puts that tree around the other video, and it's like the moments of our lives kind of a thing, and grandma can give, my mom, grandma to London, my daughter, she would do a video response to my daughter's videos that I sent her every time, and I sent her videos through Vimeo with the password. So he's right. Focus on one piece and make it work, and then you can come back to this guy and say, listen, I know you have concerns about it, but once I get somebody to post 2 videos, they post 200 in a month. Look at these folks. Let's hear it for Tim.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. It's Jason Calacanis, the host of This Week in Startups. One of the great things about having this program is that I get to pick the sponsors, and we only pick the sponsors based upon the products and services that myself or Tyler Crowley, my partner here, use. And one of those products that I use all the time is MailChimp. That's how I send my email newsletter. As you guys know, 2 years ago, I quit blogging, started doing email, and that list grew to over 20,000 members. I needed a way to manage that massive list. I couldn't use this desktop software. I needed software as a service. I got MailChimp. And one of the best features of MailChimp, I have it here on my screen that I'll show you, is I can segment my list. So here's my list. I'm clicking the segment button. And here I get
that interface.
It's just a beautiful interface.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous interface. And I can say, hey, show me all the people who have been added to the list after a specific date. So here I go. I say, hey, I want just the people who have signed up this month. And now I could segment and say, hey, just show me who signed up this month. Hey, here's the 81 people. Now I've got all the 81 people here. I hope, well, I can't show all their emails, but I can just click the Send To button right here. And when I click that Send To button, now I'm just sending to those 81 people. This is called segmenting your list, which is a great thing to do. And you can segment it by location or any information that you collect from users or some information you don't collect. One interesting thing you could do is, and here's a list of all the different ways you can segment. By first name, by last name. I can email all the Tylers on the list, by what company they're at, their job function, what they're interested in, because I ask people what they're interested in. So I could say, hey, if you're only interested in venture capital, I'm only going to email you about that, gender, location. But hey, look at that, CloudScore. Remember we had Joe Marchese from CloudScore, and I could say, give me people who have a CloudScore that is great.
Fernandez, I think you mean?
What's that?
Joe Fernandez?
Who did I say?
Marchese?
Oh, Joe Marchese is another entrepreneur. God, I'm sorry. I'm tired sometimes. It's Joe.
You just came back from New York just for this, huh?
Is it back here? Yeah. So anyway, the CloudScore is greater than 20. Boom. Show me the people who are, that's 500 people. That's too much. Let me just make it 30 here. So show me the people who have CloudScores over 30. Boom. Here's the 360 people. I can just start emailing to just them. So I could, if I wanted to give a free ticket, I can go all the way up the list. I can say, hey, over 40, over 50, over 70. Who are the really powerful people here on the list? And boy, I got the right people on the list. I don't want to show their emails. But an incredibly powerful tool. Go check it out. The free plan is always free. And this is one of the nice things. They give, if you have a small list, like only 2,000 people or less, and you do under 12,000 emails a month, they do it free. and they just charge you as you go. You get these sort of MailChimp points, and it's just an amazing product. So thank you to them for being a partner on the program, and thank you for your attention to the sponsors. Without them, independent media like this trip to New York, where we shot a bunch of great episodes, would not be possible, or the trips to San Francisco or to London. It costs a lot of money to produce high-quality content like this in HD and do it on a consistent basis. And without partners like MailChimp, we couldn't do it. Thank you, MailChimp. MailChimp. Okay, next up, Lee.
Okay, hi, my name's Lee. I'm going to tell you about Lee Mail. So Lee Mail can change the way you feel when a website asks for your email address. So right now, it'll change the way you feel when a website asks for your email address. Most people don't like it when websites ask for their email address. There's lots of problems there. There's privacy issues, there's data issues, there's a trust issue, it's a decision to make. We actually, with Lee Mail, you'll never have to give your email to a website again, yet you can sign up to any website you want without sacrificing your privacy. So how do we do it? We do it with a button. It's called the Lee Mail button. You can have it as a bookmarklet, or you can embed it in your web page for your visitors. And when you press it, it creates a private email address just for that website to communicate with you. And it delivers to your personal email address. We call it a Lee Mail address. There are a few special features about Lee Mail addresses. One is every single one comes with an on-off switch. So when a website asks for your email address, you just press the button, you give them the Lee Mail, and you can decide later if you want them to be able to email you or whether you want to turn them off.
Okay, very good. In terms of presentation, Sanford, what did you think?
I was like, wait, where'd it go? Presentation, I like your forcefulness. I like the straightforwardness you had, earnestness. All of those aspects were great. I think it wasn't a presentation as much as a front page, and unfortunately, because it was rotating, I kept looking up at it. So unfortunately, I was wanting to look at you and looked at that, looked at you, looked at that. So I was distracted. ADD comes and goes. The idea, though, about communicating the solution, great. I'm still kind of wondering about some alternatives, which I'll talk about in the business side. Presentation, style, and give you a 7. I'll give you a 7 for strength and what you did.
Tyler, what did you think?
You could have been showing the product at the same time you were talking about it, which I think would have taken it up to a whole other notch.
If I would have had 2 minutes, I would have done that. That's normally the way I do it.
You could have
done it.
If you can't sign up for the list in a minute, then
the product is broke. Right. Yeah, the whole product premise is it's easy to do, right? Yeah. So you should have just shown the product like you're doing right now, because it's sort of interesting. You're creating for this specific website. You create Lee Mail, you click it, and you put a subdomain on it, which, Tyler, what do you give it?
Could have very easily been a 7.5. I feel like it was like 6.5.
Yeah,
the way we saw it.
We're saying, what did you give the presentation?
So presentation alone, so this is kind of cheating because I heard the 2-minute pitch at breakfast a few days ago at another event, which I thought was a stronger pitch, mostly because you had extra time. I do not, again, my biggest question after the first presentation that I heard earlier in the week, I don't understand how it works. You need to see it in order to get, I get the concept, but you need to see the darn product to understand how you register, where you're actually passing the email, how easy it is to turn things on and off. You could have easily done that and shown that instead of actually showing the rotating web page.
That's always, so I agree. What do you give it on a score?
I would give it a 7 for that reason.
Okay, very good. I think the presentation was bad, but the product is good. So I give the presentation like a 5 because it was the presentation that a founder shouldn't give. That's the presentation a marketing person would give. A marketing person just talks about the generalities. You should have shown the product. This screen and the other screen where you generated it tells the whole story. I could do this in 20 seconds. Ever sign up for a website and then you decide you don't want to get emails from them anymore? What if you could, in one click, create an email for every different site you use, and then in our dashboard, turn it off? Wouldn't that be awesome?
This is the shot right here.
Boom. Wouldn't that be great, everybody? You could just do that.
That's the shot. You would have, that was an 8
you
presentation.
You didn't have to try to line and sign up. These guys, your email is going to bounce.
What's the quick start guide? I want to see the quick start guide.
We flipped the script. Marketers. Done. It's like a 30-second pitch, right? But you're talking about what happened. This is a typically, I think, when you're an entrepreneur and you're really in the
thick of it.
Yeah.
You talk about.
Heading to the bar.
I think you start when you're an entrepreneur, you start talking. You think you overthink it. You have such a beautiful screen there. You could have just shown that. So I give the presentation of 5. Now onto the business side. I was really not impressed when you started talking about the idea, because I said, this business exists. There's throwaway emails, there's other inbox, and by the way, anybody with a Gmail account can put,
Plus.
Amazon plus, whatever, Jason plus Amazon at Gmail or whatever. So I was like, well, there's nothing unique here. But that one screen you didn't show, that should have been the startup screen, is the thing that the other ones don't do. I now know that. So as presented, I would have given the business like a 4 or 5, but having seen that now, I give the business like a 7. I think it's got potential. And
just to address that issue of sort of different things that are out there, and for example, creating different aliases through Gmail or other services.
Can't turn them off.
Can't turn them off. Also can't reply. When you create an email through our service and you reply, your actual email identity isn't exposed. The reply comes from the email address as well.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I don't like about this is that I have to log into this instead of my Gmail, and but
you actually don't need to log into it. You get this bookmarklet. You click it. It all delivers to your Gmail address.
Right. It's forwarding. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it's okay.
If this is executed properly, I would use this.
Yeah. So I'm giving it a 7 right now. What are you giving?
I can give you an invite. You can try it.
Boom. See what he just did?
Yeah.
It took me up.
I know. That's incredible. It's free time.
Yeah.
What are you giving on a business level?
The fact that I would use it actually is kind of rare in terms of the pitches that we hear. So.
Yeah, but I think that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a success.
I think it means it's a $1 billion business. That's how I read it.
Tyler's got very peculiar taste. Good. What do you give it as a business on a business level?
Where's the business in it though?
Well,
okay, very good question.
Let me answer that.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of routes for monetization. One, people are already using the service and have already asked us for some premium level services. They love using it. You can use it on every single website on the internet today. Where you can't use it yet is when you're not in front of your computer. So for that, we have an app in development and an SMS service. So in the real world, when you need to give somebody or some business an email address for contact and you want to use it, it's it'll top up on your mobile, or it's a cheap app that helps to spread it. But where we think the actual, and there's a lot of other features like storing your emails and all kinds of things people are already asking for. But where we think the actual revenue comes from is actually on the business side. Right? So what's average conversion rates on a page that requires email address, right? You're talking about 2-3%. That's like a 97% fail. And how much of that is because people don't know if they can trust the site?
You guys thought this out.
Yeah. So with that, but there's something even better. I don't know if you guys saw the news today about Steam, the game platform.
Sure.
Yeah, they got hacked. 25 million user records, boom.
Yep.
Into the underworld, along with Sony and all the Epsilon customers, everybody else.
Right.
If they're email addresses, it's not a big deal. First of all, we can secure those addresses on the back end using security policy framework and other technologies to make sure that only emails that originate from the valid owner business that you've given the address to can deliver to you.
Right.
And even if they have a catastrophic error, what's the big deal? We just turn them off and we issue new ones. And it's like instant disaster recovery.
Crazy marketing. You have all the people signing up doing the marketing.
Still very complicated for the average user, but what do you give the business then?
I'm liking this. This is like, it's not like over the top, but I can see an 8.
I'm moving up to a 7.5. 8. What do you guys got?
So I'd probably still rank it as a 7. I don't buy that customers are actually going to pay for this stuff, even if there are extra feature ads. The business stuff I totally got.
Hold on, what's your email address?
It's all over the web.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's pretty darn public. And I don't mind if people email me. So it's part of my job, right, to get emails. It's fun. So that's the reason. So I think it's really a business service that you're counting on. And I just need that 1 or 2 examples of early accounts that are that are willing to pay for it and see kind of value add. That's all I need. So
Sanford, what do you think on a business level?
Well, okay, because you got e-groups. I have products for that. I've been looking at the email space for 15 years. And what you're doing is essentially putting a relay in between me and every other service, and you get to be the pipe. So I'm hoping you got yourself one hell of an infrastructure to make sure none of my emails get lost, if I have it as an important email.
He went to MIT. He's a smart guy.
That's fine. We went somewhere else. It's okay. We don't talk about that funky school out there. But the idea of what you're offering. I use it myself all the time. I just use the plus symbol, and when I don't like the person, I either filter it, and what I really appreciate is the fact that I can track it coming from Gmail. I am not sure about the people who are going to use the list, or use the email lists, because to give you another story, a 3 million email member list for John Kerry. I was the CTO for that campaign, and a year later, the number of campaigns that had that 3 million member email list was annoying. If Lee Mail was there, it would be nice, but then again, if I was that person who stole the list, I just filter all of you guys out because I go, okay, I don't know if it's going to work. Once I find out I'm getting into trouble, I'd cull the list. I'm wondering about that aspect.
So I don't quite understand
the idea is that if I know that you're going to block my mail, why the hell do I want to send it? What I'll do is I'll make sure that I'll target those individuals to give me their real email address.
If you're my customer as running the John Kerry campaign, then you will know who's turned off your email address. And you might even know why, because they might tell us. In the moment when they switch it off, we can easily ask them, why are you switching this off? John Kerry wants to know.
So what are you giving on a business level?
See, I don't know yet, and so I'm going to give you a 6, 7, 6.5. You guys like the halves.
Yeah.
I'll give you a 6.5. I'm curious to see what happens next, because there's so many things you could do with this. You also have distribution opportunities. I keep thinking about Ironport and all the other players that have been in the email relay space. This is a terrific interface, because then you are playing the same thing that the spam guys were doing. Cloudmark, I think it was called, that was doing this, providing signals back to the relays so they could figure out who was spamming. All of these things are great opportunities to be part of the ecosystem. My fear, Google does something to this.
Well, yeah, I also
I think Google would buy this.
Yes, that's what I feel like this is better as a Google Apps for Business.
Yep.
You know, $199 solution that just uses the plus feature and lets you turn off the plus feature. The more integrated, you get a customer base there. So yeah, I'm somewhere on the 7.5 base. I'm intrigued, but I'm not. I think everybody's intrigued, which is good. Nobody's sold, which is either means you're onto something or it's not going to be sellable. But as an angel investor, I probably would pass, and as a VC, he'd pass. So he wouldn't join a CTO just yet.
I might actually,
You might.
because of the fact that I like what he's done. If it works the way he's shown it and it's demonstrating it, I as a CTO might join it because I know the plays that he's got to deal with.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of other issues he's got to go through, but I don't know.
Still
if
an
he's
interesting
addressed
space, the email space. So it wouldn't have joined. This has been the biggest conversation. So that tells you.
By the way, the fact that you have such polarizing opinions on this, the fact that I really like this and he so much doesn't work, that's actually kind of a good thing.
It's not that I dislike it. I don't know that I would take the time to sign up for. I signed up for other
But
inbox.
this is the kind of responses that the things that do really well get.
Well, email inbox management still matters. Let's hear it for Lee.
By the way, I'd love to see it as a Chrome extension so I don't have to go to another domain to flip the switches. Awesome.
All right, so let's do the hard part here. We need a pen or two. Everybody got a pen? Let's throw up a pen here.
Right behind you.
Oh, hey, thank you. Very nice. Okay, so now we do the hard part. Everybody has to vote on which one they like best and explain why. So you're going to pick either Lee Mail, presented by Lee Morgenroth, letting you easily turn emails off, or you're going to pick Streaming Well, or you're going to pick 6.3, the video messaging service, or Streaming Well, the healthcare service. Which one would you most likely want to invest in, use, join as an employee, any of those criteria, as long as you can back it up, okay? And I'm going to ask the audience as well which one was their favorite, and we'll give the favorite, whichever one wins amongst us, we'll give the a table to at the launch conference, okay, in March. Okay, you got to write it down, Tyler.
You got to write it down?
Yeah, well, you have to write it down because you don't want anybody cheating and saying, like, I picked the same one, because people cheat.
Oh, he's me.
Well, Tyler cheats, I should say.
Yeah. Wait, hang on.
Don't look at mine.
I want to see the options again.
Lee Mail,
Yep.
Streaming Well,
Yep.
or 6.3.
Yeah.
Don't confer. No, you're not supposed to confer.
No.
He's like cheating. He's looking at my sheet.
Well, it's right here.
You already wrote it down. Okay. You wrote yours down.
Yeah, I wrote mine down, and he
All right,
just
all right,
wait
all
until you see what he said.
Which one would you most likely want to invest in? Which one do you like the most, you say?
So from a venture perspective, I don't know if any of them are quite there. So I'm thinking from an angel perspective.
Okay.
The one that I think has the clearest path towards something, because I know the video space reasonably well, is the health one, whose name I forgot.
Streaming Well.
One. Streaming Well.
That's what I was trying to do.
Okay. I think there's a clear arbitrage there. You stick up good videos. There's a clear art there. It's a good business. It should be able to work.
Sanford, which one was your favorite?
Let's see if you can figure it out yourself. I was all in for Lee Mail. I really do think it interesting.
Awesome. Okay, very good. Now, Tyler.
Yes.
I have to guess what you did. You have to guess what I did, okay? So I'm going to guess yours.
I know what you did.
And you guess mine.
Yeah.
Right,
I know you got mine.
Okay, so we know each other that
yes.
well.
Yes. We've played this game before.
Okay. Which one did I pick?
Streaming Well.
Correct. I did Streaming Well. And I'm going to say that you picked Lee Mail.
Yes, I did.
All right, there you go.
Oh, now wait, we have a tie.
No, you're right.
Lee Mail,
2 and 2.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
All right, so
I think you got to give it to the guy who's got the balls to put his own name in the product.
All right, let's ask the audience then. We'll go to the audience tiebreaker. How many people thought Lee Mail was the best presentation? Raise your hand. That's about that many. Okay. How many people thought Streaming Well was the best presentation? Not as many.
They're right.
How many people thought 6.3 was the best presentation? Well, clearly Lee Mail wins. Congratulations to Lee Mail.
So he's got a table at the launch conference? Is that how it works?
Yeah, you get a table at the launch conference and a couple free tickets, and you come to America and raise some money and appreciate you guys for there.